All right. First, hello and welcome. Thank you for being here, everyone. My name is Natalie Vandenberg. I am Senior Coordinator of the Fellowship at the Chef Ann Foundation, and I'm joined today by a few of my lovely colleagues. We have Vanessa, our Tech Coordinator, Erico, Program Coordinator of California Workforce Programs, and Kelsey, our Director of Workforce Planning. You'll mostly be hearing from me today unless anything goes wrong, in which case these lovely people will jump in. So thanks for joining today for this webinar to learn more about the Healthy School Food Pathway Fellowship in 2024. So our agenda for today will go over what the fellowship program is, why it exists, who's eligible, the key program components, how to apply, and the timeline. We'll spend a lot of time on that key program component piece so that you have an understanding of what the program is and if the fellowship is a good fit for you and your goals. And then I'll also do a quick demo of how to start an application in our application portal. If you have any questions along the way, please use the Q&A box, which should be in your toolbar to enter your questions, and we'll answer them at the end. And I'll also you'll provide my email at the end. So if you have any additional questions afterwards, you're welcome to send them to me. If it's not already in your calendar, mark it off now. Put a big circle around October 1st. That is when the application is due. That is October 1st at midnight Mountain Time Zone. So do the math. If you're a last minute person like me and you're gonna submit it on October 1st, make sure you get it in on time. All right. So to start, what is the fellowship? The fellowship is a 13-month-long registered apprenticeship program that is designed to develop the next generation of diverse leaders who can operate sustainable scratch-cooked school food programs and drive school food reform. Cultivating this type of leadership is important because it will allow us to leverage our collective voice to advocate for things like healthy school meals, efficient scratch cooking operations, climate-positive food system solutions, and an equity-driven, valued workforce. And why does the fellowship exist? So the Chef Ann Foundation began the Healthy School Food Pathway to strengthen the school food workforce by preparing individuals for job opportunities in healthy scratch-cooked school food programs. And the reason that this is necessary is that in our 14 years of working with schools, we heard over and over, and the statistics speak to this, that staff shortages, workforce can be a barrier to scratch cooking in schools. A 2023 survey from the School Nutrition Association found that 59% of responding districts reported that staff shortages were a significant challenge, while another 33% reported that they were a moderate challenge for their program. And this is not a surprise to any of you who work in school food. And a survey from 2019 found that 54% of responding districts reported that finding the next generation of school nutrition directors was either somewhat of a challenge or a significant challenge for districts. So the fellowship is specifically geared towards individuals who are looking to grow their management and leadership skills to be ready ultimately to lead a scratch cooked school meals program. So our vision for school food at the Chef Ann Foundation, we see school food as poised to be a leader in addressing the climate crisis through strategic procurement practices and menu design, and the source of delicious, nutritious food for all children, regardless of income. We also think that school food can be a well-paid, well-respected career path from cook to manager to supervisor to director, and that it can and should be driven by the diversity of thought, history, and food culture that defines the American experience. And in order for this vision to be possible, this fellowship exists because we will need a deep and diverse group of leaders who are ready not only to manage teams and menus and budgets, but also to advocate for and lead strategic change. So, who is the ideal school food fellow? First of all, to be eligible, you must be a current school food operator under the National School Lunch Program. And beyond that, we see that fellows typically have experience as assistant director, head chef, area supervisor, or some similar mid to upper level position. We will also consider folks who are directors who have less experience or are operating in a smaller district and would benefit from the support of the fellowship. The ideal fellow will be looking to grow their career and need additional experience and education to be ready to run a Scratch Cook school meal program. They will want to focus on leadership and network development, and they will be ready for a challenging and rewarding opportunity. So I included some perspectives from our current fellows. So here's one quote from a fellow who said, "Although I have extensive experience in traditional food service, I'm still relatively new to school food. Joining the fellowship group was a great way for me to accelerate my knowledge base in a short period of time." All right, so what does the fellowship entail? At a high level, there are 4 key pillars to the fellowship that guide the whole program, and that is experience, lead, build, and inspire. So first, fellows will gain knowledge through firsthand experience and interactive hands-on components, and they'll be able to apply their key learnings to their own district. Building, fellows will expand their networks and their skill sets while building on their past knowledge and expertise. So the cohort model of the fellowship is a really key piece of folks sharing their learning with each other and growing together. Lead, fellows will be ready not only to lead their own teams, but to demonstrate strong leadership skills to district administrators, community members, and others outside of their program. And finally, inspired. So through their experiences and their learnings, fellows will understand the power and the importance of school food within the larger food system, and will feel inspired and confident that not only is change possible, but that they can lead that change. And so overall, the fellowship is not just about gaining skills and abilities, although you'll certainly do that. It's also about cultivating a growth mindset about what is possible within school food and the role that you can play. So here's another quote from one of our current fellows who said, "The Healthy School Food Pathway Fellowship has been instrumental to understanding how to move our school food program towards scratch cooking and responsible procurement. The strategies and information shared by experienced leaders, as well as opportunities to network and learn from colleagues across the country, has allowed my district to lay a strong foundation and maintain motivation as we take steps towards scratch cooking in our schools." All right, so the entire fellowship program is geared towards imparting 11 main learning concepts. And these concepts cover the whole broad scope of what's involved in running a successful Scratch Cook school meal program. So they include procurement, finance, facilities, human resources, marketing, leadership development, school food within the food system, grant writing and fundraising, sustainability, nutrition, and policy and compliance. And underpinning all of this is a shared understanding and some foundational coursework around diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is a really key part of the program that is a lens that's applied throughout. So the learning journey, how do you cover those 11 concepts? It's a lot of ground to cover. It's done via weekly virtual live learning sessions that take place on Zoom. And they happen most weeks throughout the 13 months, tapering off more towards the end, which I'll get to in a moment. But there's breaks throughout, there's project work time built in, and there's networking and coaching and mentorship opportunities built in as well. Then there's asynchronous coursework. So this includes a food systems certificate course, as well as our School Food Institute Silver Certificate, which includes 5 courses. So each fellow will choose 5 courses of their own that will best support their learning journey in their district and their needs. There are also 5 on-site experiential learning trips. So this is really key to that experience and that hands-on part. This includes 2 host district site visits in the spring and the fall to see exemplary districts in action, an in-person conference, training with the Culinary Institute of Child Nutrition, hands-on training, and finally, capstone presentations and a celebration that will take place in January of 2025 at the close of the program. There is also a group policy project. This is done in small groups. And then there's an individual on-the-job capstone project that serves as the culmination of your learning year. So in the first half of the program, we'll work on developing that project, a proposal and a plan. And then in the second half of the year, you'll work on implementing that project, and your district will receive a $5,000 stipend to support that capstone project. And that's where I referenced that the live learning sessions taper off more towards the end of the year to allow you time to work on that capstone project. So all of this totals up to about 400 hours over the course of those 55 weeks, which comes out to about 8 hours per week. That's primarily done outside of your regular working hours, is the general expectation. Folks can work it out individually with their supervisor if it works to do some or all of that learning on the job, but otherwise the expectation is that this is done on your own time in addition to your regular work responsibilities, except for that capstone project, which is an on-the-job project that is meant to benefit your district while also growing you as a leader. So my last quote from one of our fellows: "The Healthy School Food Pathway Fellowship has been a transformative experience. I've learned from and collaborated with expert content leaders and the most innovative leaders in school food service throughout our country. This has made me feel part of something really amazing, and I'm super thankful for the opportunity." All right, now, how to apply. So this is the demo portion. And you'll have to forgive me for looking sideways at my other monitor. So the application link can be found on the fellowship page on our website. So from this page, you'll see this green Apply Now button, and you can click there and it'll take you into our application portal. And from here, I'm already logged in, but if you don't already have an account, you would go to this New User, Click Here button, and it would take you to a page to set up an account. Very quick and easy. But I'm going to go back to the other tab if I can get to it. So from this page, you'll see the open applications. Fellowship is one of them. And if you click this link, click here to register and apply, it will take you to a page that provides more information about the program. I will not read this word for word right now. I would encourage you to read through it if you haven't already. There's some important information in here. But to get started, you click this Start Application button. And this takes you, the first page, you'll only see this once. This is the eligibility page. So again, I won't read through this word for word right now, but please read through it when you do start an application if you haven't yet. And just check each of these things to make sure that you meet the eligibility requirements. I will click through them very rapidly so that we can see what the application itself looks like. All right, so this brings us into the application. You'll see that there are 7 tabs across the top that are the different sections of the application to complete. This general info tab, like it sounds, general information. These questions that are marked with a red asterisk are required. So you'll have to go through and fill in each of those required questions. If some required question, if you have nothing applicable, just type in something like none or NA. And then you can either use these arrows at the bottom or the tabs at the top to navigate. As you go through, I would encourage you to click the Save button regularly to make sure that you don't lose your work. Never a fun thing. District info asks for some information about your school district. This question down at the bottom, have you spoken with your supervisor about participating in the School Food Fellowship program? As it says, this approval will be required for participation. So just keep that in mind. Your supervisor will sign off for selected fellows. Supervisors will sign off along with the fellows on the program itself. Questions. So this is really the meat and potatoes of the application that's really telling us why you want to be a part of the fellowship and how it fits in with your goals and your school food philosophy. So I would recommend copying these questions into a Word doc or a Google Doc to be able to answer them all more easily and sort of see and edit them, and then paste them back into here again, also to make sure you don't lose any work along the way. Interview, we're planning to do interviews the week of October 23rd. So this is you just obviously a while out, schedules can change, but just filling in your general availability for interviews over that week for if you're selected for an interview, when we will reach out to schedule. Supplemental, so this is some additional questions that gets at the helping us understand who's applying for our program. These questions are not required, and you won't be penalized in any way for not answering them, but we do appreciate it, any information you provide. The information from this tab will be decoupled from the rest of your application, so it will not be taken into consideration for the selection, but it helps us in our program evaluation and advocacy efforts around higher wages for school food professionals. Video. So each applicant is asked to submit a short video, 5 minutes or less, of yourself in your school food service environment. It can be, you can take it in whatever direction you see fit. There's some suggestions and examples here of how you can do that, but that's a fun part of the application, fun for us anyways. And then your resume, you'll upload an up-to-date resume in a PDF or a document format. My email is up here at the top, so if you have any questions as you go through and fill it out, please send me an email. But hopefully it's pretty straightforward, and once you fill in all of the required questions, a submit application button should appear and you can submit your application. All right, that is the end of my demo. I'll bring our slides back up. The timeline. So the application launched on Monday. It is now August 31st and we are having this webinar. The application will close on October 1st. That is a Sunday, so you have the weekend. Again, if you're a last minute person like me, you can do it that weekend, submit it on Sunday night. We'll then review all the applications and reach out for interviews, which will take place the week of October 23rd. And then we will notify selected fellows of their selection in late November. And the cohort will begin their learning journey in January of 2024 and run through January of 2025. Which is when the capstone presentations and closing celebration will take place. All right. And that's all I have.